In this video, I want to introduce you the Black Hawk of Nazi Germany. The Focke-Achgelis Fa-223 Drache, or Dragon, was a helicopter developed by Germany during World War II. Professor Henrich Focke was a German aviation pioneer and also the co-founder of the Focke-Wulf Company. He designed the first practical, functional helicopter, the Focke-Wulf Fw-61, which first flew in 1936. The German Air Ministry was so impressed by this helicopter that it suggested Focke to establish a new company dedicated to helicopter development and issued him with a requirement for an improved design capable of carrying a 700-kilogram payload. Focke established the Focke-Achgelis company in 1937 in partnership with the helicopter test pilot Gerd Achgelis and began the development work. They first produced an enlarged six-occupant version of the Fw-61. In September 1939, the first prototype, the Focke-Achgelis Fa-223, left the factory, nicknamed Drache or Dragon. It had a twin-rotor layout similar to the Fw-61, but had a fully enclosed cabin and a load bay with an engine mounted in the middle of the steel body. The helicopter first flight was on 3rd of August 1940, after over 100 hours of ground and tether testing. In October it was flown to the test center to Rechlin to be demonstrated, and while there it set a top speed of 182 km per hour, a climb rate of 528 minutes per minute, and a maximum altitude of 7,000 meters, a performance far greater than had been demonstrated by any other helicopter in the world. Despite this, the Drache was nowhere near ready for military service, and Focke-Achgelis were told to accelerate their development program. Serial production of the Dragon began at the Focke-Achgelis factory in 1942. The site was struck in June that year by an Allied air raid and destroyed along with the 2 surviving prototypes and the first 7 pre-production machines undergoing final assembly. Attempts were made to restore production but were abandoned in 1943 and the new plant was set up. A series of information films made for the Air Ministry to demonstrate the Fa-223's capabilities were made in the same factory. Loads, which include a complete Fieseler-Storch aircraft, was shown being lowered with great precision onto vehicles using the Dragon's special quick-release cargo hook. Following this, the Air Ministry decided to evaluate the helicopter's potential as a transport in mountainous region, and a new test series started. The objective of the test was to show how the Dragon would perform as a general-purpose all-weather transport, and numerous landings were made at altitude of over 1,600 meters above sea level, plus experimental transportation of artillery guns to mountain troops. When the trials ended in October 1944, a total of 83 flights had been made with a total flying time of over 20 hours. Some weeks later, Focke received a new order to move the entire operation to Berlin-Tempelhof Airport, where flight testing was to be resumed, and a production line established to produce 400 helicopters per month, which was totally unrealistic. Focke had managed to keep hold of 2 of the 5 surviving Dragons at Tempelhof in early 1945. In January 1945, the Air Ministry assigned the other 3 Dragons to Transport Staffel 40, so Transport Squadron or TS-40, the Luftwaffe's only operational helicopter squadron equipped with the 3 Dragons. TS-40 relocated to various sites before the war ended. One of the Dragons was destroyed by its pilot to prevent it being captured, and the other 2 were seized by US forces. The US intended to ferry captured aircraft back to the US aboard a ship, but only had room for one of the captured Dragons. So the RAF objected the plans to destroy the other, so a German pilot with 2 observers flew it across the English Channel in September 1945. This was the first crossing of the Channel by a helicopter in history. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next video.